Shifting my gaze upwards is nearly too painful knowing the danger. Not to me, but to those who have been lured in here by the curse. Oh, fuck a duck. Greetings, my beautiful viewers. I am the Hunter of Comedy, and welcome back to The Letter. So, we are definitely getting close to the end of Aston's story, although I'm not quite sure how close we're getting. I feel like him going into the mansion is going to be like the high note, like the last we'll see of him until like the finale. But I'm not quite sure exactly what's going to go on in the meantime. I took a peek at the gallery. There are some things that I'm missing because, you know, basically, I see this chapter 7. I got most of everything in chapter 4. Most of the things in chapter 5, although there doesn't seem to be as many in chapter 5. And that was Rebecca's. And, wow, I guess I still have a bit more to do with his. I missed a lot in Zach's, but then again, that just all boils down to choices. Sprites, CGs, oh my god, some of these CGs. Oh, yeah, fuck, no. No, make that go away. She has a oh face, oh no. But yeah, there's a lot of, oh my god, that scared the fuck out of me when I first saw it. Oh my god. Oh boy. But I'm sorry, I should not, like, I was kind of reminiscing there because we're now back with Aston, and we're gonna see if we can survive a dimension, which I don't really want to be here right now. It looks very bad, and like not a place I want to go to. The rain falls in fast, steady sheets, creating shallow puddles on the dirt path, drenching everything that the eyes can reach. Despite having grown up in the city, I still despise the rain. Living here doesn't mean I have to like it. Lucky for me, I've reached the mansion before the downpour has turned torrential. Oh, jeez. The lone slog from Aston Village by foot has already been made difficult by the light drizzle and biting winds buffeting against my body every few seconds. By the time I find cover under the trees lining the vicinity of the mansion, my shoulders are already drenched. My hair is also sticking against my skin out in every possible direction. Thankfully, the letter, taser, and gun I've brought with me have remained relatively dry. That's the most important thing. However, those are the least of my problems at the moment. Sometime after the housewarming party, scumbag, Wright, has grown a brain and tightened security around the mansion. I mean, it doesn't seem like it. I mean, if anything, the place seems more like deserted now, but then again, you know, a guard is now stationed in every possible point of entry. The main entryway, the back door leading to the kitchens. Hell, it's almost a miracle no one has spotted me once I entered the property, although that's probably because I've kept close to the forest. While I can always create a clever way in for myself, under this deluge, it'll be difficult to do so without making much noise or leaving tracks.
I don't really have the luxury either, do I?
Considering how off this place feels ever since I stepped into the property and the mansion came into view. Every light is off. even the security personnel on patrol outside. The whole house itself, it feels empty, eerie, too quiet. Normally I'll pass it off as some kind of power outage because of the storm. It's not a far-off conclusion when this place is almost out in the middle of nowhere. However, something just feels wrong.
Something happened here.
Or about to. It's the sole reason why I haven't done anything yet. Simply observing, watching, listening, for anything. I might be pressed for time, but I am not a careless idiot. I need a way in. Desperately so. Moving without thinking will only endanger me. With so many unknown variables and what we're dealing with, I also have to act on the assumption that someone is always in danger, especially in this place. I can't act impulsively. As much as I hate Wright, I'm not about to cause his death because of one thoughtless action. If there's a place he deserves to be, it's in prison, not a morgue. Oh, fuck nuggets! I know that noise! So when a hoarse, painful sob rings out above the loud pitter-patter of rain, only then do I stir. A woman. Perhaps a servant? Or worse, Hannah Wright. It's coming from the forest? No! No, I know! No! God damn it! Aston, no! Just right up ahead, in fact. Not too far from the house. Regardless, I give the place a quick, wary glance before following the noise. Carefully keeping to the shadows, one cautious step after another. Louder and louder it goes as I near. Oh, god damn it, no! Until it abruptly turns into a loud, desperate, anguished cry. I break into a run. One nervous hand ready on the gun holster at my hip, the other raised for balance as I scurry across the dense understory. Dead leaves crunch under my shoes, but I pay it no mind. There's only the voice, the woman, and nothing. Abruptly it stops, and I am met with a sudden hush. Blank. Empty. Almost deafening in its stillness, even with the labored breathing and pounding heartbeats against my ears. Behind me another branch breaks and...
Help me.
Oh god! Oh god, no! Oh god, no! Oh god, no! Dread surges within me as I spin around and take a hard step back, ignoring the chilly pinpricks crawling at the back of my neck. Before I can even meet her eyes, the world unexpectedly pitches sideways, tilting and tilting till the ground beneath me finally crumbles. My hands fight for purchase, only to meet air. By then, it's too late. My foot slips, and the rest of my body follows. Dark spots blur the edge of my vision. Black tendrils twisting and coiling around my limbs. Soft footfalls echoing the distance, scurrying, scampering, moving in an odd rhythm with the sharp, piercing notes of her laughter. But more than that are the voices, lacing venom inside every crevice in my mind. Murmurs that jur, scoff, and deride. Over. It's because you didn't listen. And over. It's all your fault. And over again. Why won't you believe me? A reminder what I failed to do and who I failed. What I'm trying desperately to fix. A scream threatens to burst, but my throat closes off. Ever so slowly, a chill seeps into every nerve in my body, washing away every sensation in me apart from one. There is only fear. Oh god, once again her laughter echoes, a sound both bitter and unforgiving. It's the last thing I hear before she reaches for me. The ground trembles. The world slows to a stop. Oh, fuck, no, I'm in the basement! The storm has arrived in earnest when Aston arrived at the mansion. While trying to find a way in, the detective noticed the eerie silence that had enveloped the place. Something was wrong inside, but before he could figure it out, the sobs of a woman suddenly echoed. Oh, damn. Half darkness creeps me when my eyes finally snap open, the soft patter of dripping water, somewhere spurring my consciousness further. For a few short moments, I remained still, blinking away the dizziness, allowing my vision to adjust to the lack of light and my breathing to even out first, before pushing myself on one arm and attempting to stand. Turning alone is a struggle on its own. An inch of movement sends a stab of pain right in my arms and back, giving me another pause.
Shit. I hope I didn't break anything. Fuck.
There doesn't seem to be an injury or major fracture, although the whole of my back feels sore and raw. Probably from when I've skidded down prior to landing here myself. A comforting thought. The second attempt comes easier later, though no less painful. And by the time I'm back on my feet, the exertion has left me gasping in short, shallow breaths and leaning heavily on the wall nearest to me. Behind me, a light draft blows in from where I've fallen in, coming in sharp bursts into what's apparently an underground tunnel, and brings in the fresh, earthy smell of rain from the topside. Regardless, it falls to mask the old, musky scent of the place, a mixture of mold, mildew, dust, grease, and something distinctly foul, like death. More worrisome than the putrid, festering smell, however, are the cells that line both sides of the tunnel. Under the dim light, I could barely make out what's inside on some of them, but I already have a few ideas, all of which I refuse to delve into at the moment. Okay, so when did Mary Ann get trapped down here? The 28th. It's been 4 days? She's been down here for 4 days? She's dead! Like, video game logic, I know she's probably still alive because video game logic, but, I mean, here's the thing. The human body can only go a couple of days without water. Like, 3 days without water at most. You can go without food for about a week, but without water, you will die within 3 days. Yeah. Every creature on this planet needs water. It's what makes the world go round. And if Mary Ann's been down here for 4 days, like, without food or water, she's fucked. I'm sorry. Under the dim light, I can barely make out what's inside on some of them. But I already have a few ideas, all of which I refuse to delve into at the moment. Knowing how long this mansion has stood, somehow, no matter how unexpected finding the existence of this place is, it isn't too surprising.
I wonder if Scumbag knows about this.
Nope, I doubt it. Probably not, unless he's also the kind of person who takes joy in inflicting this kind of suffering on others. I don't really think so. He's rotten to the core, but not that rotten. He'll probably balk at this, move out at the first opportunity, and have it demolished. The very idea of what occurs in this place years ago makes me reel as well. I've known long ago places like this tend to hold secrets. This, though, if this is just the tip of the iceberg, I fear what I may discover in the mansion itself and the tale behind that fucking letter. But fear's inconsequential, as unpleasant as the sight of this is. This place might also be the only way for me to get inside unnoticed. Sighing and taking one last gulp of clean air, I push away from the wall and delve deeper into the passage.
Let's just hope it'll be smooth sailing from here on.
Turns out that alone is too much to ask for this early. No 20 paces into it, another sound abruptly raises above my footfalls. Oh, that was Mary Ann's voice! Rebounding off the hollow walls and echoing inaudibly across the whole span of the tunnel before turning away just as swiftly as it rang. I paused, nevertheless, straining my ears for more of it, while I gradually moved my hand to my side, slow and steady until the tips of my fingers brush off the gun's handle. Although cold against my skin, it's the closest thing I have to comfort at the moment. For a long minute I wait, holding my breath, watching every form, edge, and shadow at the corner of my vision for any movement. After a heartbeat and nothing, I allow the tension to ease out of me in the form of a long, slow exhale that reverberates throughout the whole passage.
Who's there?
Perhaps it's because of what happened earlier, or how I've ended up here. Or maybe it's because of my training. But in spite of the panic and fear in that voice, I don't immediately answer. Instead, I pull my gun free from its holster and wordlessly draw closer to where the voice rings out once again. Afraid. Frantic. Weak?
I'm asking you a question. Who's there?
It's only after I release the safety do I answer, while continuing my approach in a careful, steady pace.
I think I should be the one asking you that. Who are you? Show yourself.
I can't. I'm stuck in here.
Well, a ghost will definitely not be saying that, or having a conversation like this, or be stuck anywhere. As if to prove her point, she extends a hand from one of the cells ahead and waves, then she pulls back, grips the bars, and rattles it lightly.
I can't get out. Can you help?
In 5 quick steps, I'm standing in front of the cell, and sure enough, a woman's inside. Slumped on the floor, holding the bars with shaking hands, clinging to it as if it's the only thing keeping her upright. Not just any woman.
You? McLaughlin?
No! God! The same one I met at G's 5 days ago. Smashed drunk and babbling her frustrations about her employers.
Holmes?
No, not McLaughlin. McCulloch! Marianne McCulloch! Famous interior designer extraordinaire! Not so extraordinary now, with how exhausted and feeble she looks, trapped in a jail cell of all things. Her breathing shallow, and there's a paleness to her complexion, sunken eyes, cracked lips, dry skin, all signs pointing to starvation and dehydration.
What? How long have you been stuck in here?
3 days? 4? I don't know. I have no idea anymore. I just fell in, and that woman, whatever. Can you get me out of here? Please.
In a moment. But here, go feed yourself first before you fall over.
I fish out an energy bar from my pocket and hand it to her. She's lucky I always have one on my person. For sudden emergencies or extended stakeouts, a little sugar to keep me going. Like any starving person, she wastes no time in grabbing for it, unwrapping it straight away and taking a whole mouthful of it. Relief washes over her face at the first bite alone, although she's going to need more than that if what she has said is true. Oh, God. But for the moment, it's enough to keep her alive. Yes, it is. God, the second you introduce your body to, at the point of starvation, the second you introduce your body to anything, it latches onto it and gives you energy. Not a lot, but it gives you enough to fucking move. God, we need to get her some water. I need to get myself some water. I'm thirsty.
A few moments later.
Okay, I am back with water, everyone. God, I wish I could hand it through the screen and give it to Miss McCulloch, but I can't. I can't do that. God, I feel like a horrible savior. Good thing she seems to have the sense to prioritize survival over comfort. If the puddle on the corner of the cell indicates anything. Without water, the human body can only survive 3 days. No food. I'll give it an average of 3 weeks, even though then it won't be a pretty experience. I didn't know it was 3 weeks. I had heard a week. I had heard that your body can hold out. But basically, I think it's like this. Your body can hold out for a week, like at acceptable energy. After that, basically you'll be alive, but you won't be able to move. Basically, your body will your body will basically shut down. You'll lie on the ground and conserve all energy in the hopes of trying to preserve life. Granted, some survive longer than that. She's still fortunate I found her when I did. Now to get her out. My bobby pins won't be of any use here. Not like I need it. Unlike the ones we have at the precinct, a simple barrel hinge holds the gates to this cell together. Even without any special tools, I'll be able to lift the door and free her. However, with how heavy it seems, I need a lever of some sort to help.
What are you looking for?
Some wood, a 2x4, I guess, a plank or a pipe, anything I can use as a lever. Wait here.
The hallway yields nothing but dust and dirt, and a few rusted chains scattered about. Or, while I may find something in one of the cells, I'm reluctant to check or even step in. That's smart. You may get trapped inside too. We can't have another person trapped in here. However, McCulloch ended up inside.
Well, there's no.
My head snaps back to her. McCulloch extricates a wooden board from underneath the mess of hay and twine near her. Without prompting, she slips it through what little space there is in between the bars. Oh, it's short, but appears thick and sturdy enough for my intended purpose upon closer inspection.
Good enough.
I hope. I get to work at once, anchoring the other end of the plank at the base of the door, and applying enough force on the other end. It takes a bit of effort, no kidding about the heavy part. Still, a grunt, a gasp, a creak! In a matter of minutes, a little help from her on the other side, the door eventually lifts off its hinges. It falls to the ground with a loud, ugly, metallic thunk, but the sound of it puts elation on McCullough's face. She doesn't even ask for help. As soon as she can, she hastily crawls out of the prison she has accidentally found herself in. More than happy to get out of it, despite lacking the strength to stand firmly on her feet.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm so happy I came here. God. Oh, I wanted everyone to come here, but at the very least, this is better than nothing.
After the second day, I was so sure I was going to die in there. If you didn't show up, today, I don't even want to think about it.
Ugh, the day. Also, I want to point out, Johans would have reported her missing. Johan said he was going to come look for her if she wasn't, like, there for too long. He would have noticed she was gone and would have at least reported her missing. At least I think he would have. Unless he figured, like, maybe when he turned away for a second, it may have been like, oh, she must have left while I wasn't looking or something like that. Like, he may have thought that. Who knows?
How did you even end up here?
For a second, she appears hesitant, looking away and fumbling awkwardly with her fingers.
I was looking for someone.
A contemplative expression flickers in her eyes. Something that's close to wistful. Like when a person remembers a memory she's fond of. It doesn't last too long, but it still leaves me with the impression that I've suddenly walked into something private. Something deeply personal for her. I'd rather not ask.
So this whole tunnel, at the end of it, it leads right inside the mansion?
The wine cellar.
Right into the kitchen, then.
There's a door of some sorts. I don't know. I think I pulled or pressed something somewhere. I was in a hurry, and I'm not sure if it'll open from this side. Hell, this place wasn't even in the floor plans.
What do you mean?
Oh, okay, for a second I thought there was another missing voice file.
Does that really matter now? We have to get out of here. People died in this place. Kids! Oh, God. Kids! I could have shown you, but that thing won't turn back on anymore. It's like it only waited for me to see it before shutting down or something. How long has that thing even been in there? But those poor kids. All because of that thing.
Wait, hold on. What are you talking about right now?
The bloody letter! Ever since I've read that thing, since that day at the open house, she won't leave me. But it should be fine now, right? I broke it. I broke all of it. She shouldn't be able to do anything now.
McCullough, one at a time.
It's all that fucking paper's fault! Oh, God. Oh, God. Dear Lord in St. Adelaide, bless those poor souls. We're not safe here. We need to leave. If we stay here any longer...
McCullough!
McCullough! Abruptly she stops, looks back at me with wild, panic-stricken eyes. I've seen enough of it so many times in the past few days, from my own friends even. To know she has seen things, the kind that'll easily make a person go mad. And perhaps we slowly are. The longer this takes, the faster our descent into madness becomes. I can't even tell which one's worse, death or this. I think that death in and of itself would be pretty fucking bad. And while yes, there are definitely things worse than death, if you were to say death or the possibility of survival, I would definitely take the possibility of survival over death. At the same time, if it's like, oh, there's a possibility of survival, a 99% chance of torture, and then, like, you know, a 30% chance of death, I don't know if I would take the torture. I don't know if I could handle that. I'm squishy, dude. I would not handle that very well. Torture is a no-no. Seems like no matter what we end up with, there'll be something horrible waiting for us. I need to hurry.
Listen, I need to get inside this place, and you're more familiar with its layout. If you can help me.
What? No! Why would I go back? Are you sure you haven't gotten raving mad yet?
Yes!
An exit's right here.
And this business with the letter has to end at some point. Look, I know you're not very fond of Luke Wright,
Damn right I'm not. He can just go.
but are you really sure you want to leave him like this? And what about his wife?
It strikes a chord. She falters, grows quiet as the tension lifts from her and her shoulder slumps. I do understand her issues with this. In fact, she doesn't have to go with me. Only tell me enough info so I can figure it out on my own. She can always leave afterwards. Be done with this whole damn mansion and letter. The end of this tunnel leads right into the forest. It'll provide ample cover for her to be able to slip out of the property unnoticed. All the same, she steels herself and squares her shoulders.
Just until the kitchens.
That's more than enough.
She nods, albeit weakly. Then, without another word, she gestures for me to follow, leading me further into the passage. It is good to know she's not dead. Thank God. After all this, Aston found himself in an underground passage when he came to. There, he encountered Marianne McCulloch, who got trapped in one of the jail cells for several days. The detective managed to free her, and in turn, she helped him find a way into the mansion. Occasionally, she'll stop, find purchase on the wall, or to catch her breath, but throughout the short walk, she asks for neither a break nor assistance. I suppose that's something we have in common. Eventually, we'll get to a dead end. Although before I can question her on it, she begins palming for something on the wall, tracing her fingers along weathered edges of the bricks with a frown on her face.
It should be somewhere here, I think.
What the hell are you doing?
She really holds up a hand, begging for my silence, and continues searching. Then, without warning, a few moments later, something clicks. A portion of the wall shifts ajar to reveal a glimpse of another room. Bottles lining the walls, liquor barrels for aging. The wine cellar indeed.
The ladder to the kitchen is on the far end of this room.
Surreal. This is all nothing but a surreal nightmare. But after everything, should this even surprise me? Ghosts, curses, hidden passages. I can't even bring myself to question the existence of this door anymore. I simply follow her to the undercroft without a single question, in spite of a number of them already swimming inside my head. As a kid, I used to crave for this kind of adventure. Most kids do. The stuff of mystery and detective novels. During chases, interesting cases to solve. Daring chases. Daring chases, interesting cases to solve. Suspects to put behind bars. Justice to serve. I was blinded, I admit. Now, I simply want this to be over. Jeez. We leave the door open in case there's a need for a quick exit, especially after she mentioned it's only by chance she had been able to open the door the last time. We can't waste time finding the switch again on the occasion something goes horribly wrong. There's bound to be, with me feeling this high-strung and tense. I'm not even sure why I thought this would be a good idea to enlist McCulloch's help. Though she has been quite helpful so far, I can't shake off the horrible feeling something's going to happen to her if she stays with me. Even if I'm her safest bet if she wants to get out of this place alive.
You really believe that, don't you?
Oh God.
Did you say something?
McCulloch pauses mid-step, turns to me confused.
I didn't.
You sure? I just heard.
Don't you think I'll be the first person who will know? Look, the ladder leading to the kitchen's up ahead. You might want to hurry.
Yeah.
I just want to be done with this place.
See? You dragged another one.
This time I'm sure. There's really a voice. Well, voices. Despite the look of protest, McCulloch shoots me. I find myself standing and looking for it, searching the immediate surrounding for the familiar form of the woman. I don't even have to venture too far from where I'm standing. Just an arm's length away from me, mirror shards litter the floor. And right on the biggest fragments... Oh, it's the lips of her friends and the creepy lady. They speak, while singing the same mocking tone against my ears, letting it echo throughout the small undercroft. Murmurs and laughters, jeering, scoffing, deriding, lacing venom into every crevice in my head, taunting me.
You dragged another person into this, Ashton.
Into another one of your silly little problems.
All because you can't fix them on your own. You really haven't changed, have you? Some hero you are.
Useless.
Pathetic.
You're wrong.
My mistake lies in this first instance I've answered. The very second denial has slipped from my mouth, the words have also seeped into my heart, allowing it to prod at and rouse my temper. Despite knowing they are merely doing this to goad me, each word, each syllable trickle into me, spurring the guilt I hope I've long buried.
Are we? Or is that simply what you've been telling yourself all this time? Something to make yourself feel better, perhaps?
You're the one who took that letter off Isabella's hand that day. You're the one who opened it.
How does it feel, I wonder? To know you're responsible for all of this?
What do you think I'm doing? Why do you think I'm still trying to fix this?
Oh, but you can't. It's already too late. And you know that. You know all of this is futile.
Fuck off! There has to be a way to save everybody!
Just face it, Ashton Frey. You're a failure, and they are the ones who have to pay for it.
A badge and a gun, and you still can't protect your own friends. Can't even solve a case for an old man.
Can't even bring Luke right to justice.
Can't even keep his own family together. No wonder they left you. Before you do the same thing to them.
Mom and Dad are better off without little old you, aren't they? It's a good thing they had the sense.
Pitiful, isn't it? Some detective you are. Some friend you are. Some son you are.
Jesus Christ. This is fucked up, man.
You might as well just throw that rank away. You're no use to people either way.
Shut it!
I hate this. I hate how this monster can easily get through to me. Every weakness, every insecurity it knows. To hear it from my friends' voices even more so. What I hate above all of it is...
You know it's true, though.
All of it. It's why all you can do is tell us to shut up. You don't want to hear a single word, because you're already aware of it. You can't even admit it to yourself. Who's the coward now?
But no matter how hard you try, you're not gonna be able to save anyone.
Shut it! Not a single word anymore!
In the end, your own incompetence will eventually lead to the deaths of everyone you care about.
It laughs, sharp and piercing, as it sounds. Something in me snaps. A rage, hastily unfurling, red filling my vision. This thing I know, I'm raising my hand and... Something grabs at my wrist, followed by a buzz as another voice breaks through the haze.
Don't listen to it!
The fog of my mind lifts. Every sound, every noise returns to me, flooding my every sense. All at once there is a deafening silence. Slowly I become aware of my surroundings. Bottles of wine, barrels of liquor, the faint, old scent of death and decay somewhere. And a hand holding onto my wrist as if it keeps me from hurting myself. In my hands, a shard. Blood drips from wherein it has cut my palm, trailing down my wrist until it disappears behind my sleeve. Not too deep, negligible even. There is a pain, however, a different kind. Aches somewhere else that stems not from the wound, but from every single word, but where every single word has hit. When I glance up at McCulloch, she merely stares at me with wide, horrified eyes.
Don't listen to it! No matter what happens, don't do what it says. It's how it gets us.
I grip on the shard falters, but only after I nod and drop it entirely does she release her grip. Afterwards, she simply steps back and looks away, hugs her arms closer to herself. She breathes a sigh, heavy. Perhaps weighted with her own guilt, what this monster might have used against her.
Come on, we're getting close.
She walks off without another comment, but there's worry in her as she gives the fragments one last glance. Jesus, that was fucking creepy. Before he could go deeper into the wine cellar, Asher began to hear voices coming from the shards of the mirror on the floor. Mocking him for his failures. Though before he could do anything rash, Marianne stopped him. Belatedly, he realized he had picked up a broken mirror shard. On the ground, they lie lifeless now. No more voices, no more insults. But even as I walk away, one whispered taunt continues to ring in my ears.
It's useless, Aston Frey. You are going to die.
And you are going to die alone.
A fear. One that has been long kept in the darkest place in my heart. One that a small part of me wishes for. The trapdoor swings open without much fuss. It isn't even locked. Probably left open for when Wright asks for some midnight snack. Make sure the coast is clear, of course, before I pull myself and help McCullough up. The butler of theirs is nowhere to be seen. He's probably sleeping, attending to his masters or doing some extra late-night work before turning in for the night. Meanwhile, Wright won't touch anything to do with menial chores, not even with a 10-foot pole. It's next to impossible for him to linger here. No servants. No one. And just as easily as that, we're in. Gently, I close the hatch. If things go well, the same path will be our way out. If our luck doesn't hold, that's not an option now, is it? I have people waiting for me. Really don't want to think what might happen. Sometimes it's best if we can simply revel in little victories. There are great blessings when everything else is going against you. And in a place like this, fraught with unknown dangers, it's a feeling that lasts only but a second. Suddenly a sob. Ooh, fuck nuggets! Ringing out from some distant part of the house, echoing throughout its empty halls. Beside me, slumped on the ground, pale and breathing heavily, McCullough immediately tenses. Her eyes go wild and she grips the side of the corner of the force that might even be enough to crack it, if only she has the strength. As it is, she can barely stand. She hasn't fully recovered. Makes sense of 3 or more days without proper food or water. And it's this weakness that puts fear in her eyes. She's aware. If something happens, if there's a need to run, she won't be able to. She's a liability at this point.
Holmes, I really don't think going any further is a good idea. Look at this place. Everything seems fine. Nothing's off. Maybe we should just go? I really don't like the sound of that.
Yeah, I don't like the sound of it neither. I agree with her.
You really don't have to come with me. Just until the kitchen, yeah?
Why are you being a dick?
We're already here. You've done your part. From here on, I'm going on my own.
Yes, I said that, but...
Can you even stand?
She doesn't answer.
You'll only be putting yourself in more danger if you follow after me. You have an easy way out of here. Stay here. Once you're okay, I need you to get yourself out of this place.
What? I'm not going to leave you!
Well, I'm not taking you with me either, lady. So it's here or out there.
You really are mad, aren't you?
Probably all will be, if no one fixes this little curse problem we have.
You think you'll find something in here? This is just a mansion, for God's sake!
Maybe. It's worth a shot. Besides, if what we're hearing right now says anything, I'd say scumbags.
Who?
Right. He might be knee-deep in trouble and he has no idea about it.
McCullough still appears as if she's about to argue, So instead of more words, I unholster my taser and hand it to her. Standard issue for every member of Luxborn police force, but it shouldn't take a genius to know how to aim and fire one. Even Isabella might just be able to use it without training. Yet Miss Interior Designer stares at it as if I've just handed her something particularly nasty.
Listen, you want to wait? Fine. I'm leaving this with you. But if I don't come back here within 15 minutes, I want you to backtrack and get the hell out of here.
Are you daft, Holmes? I already told you.
In case something goes wrong, I need someone who can tell people what's going on. Who can tell my friends what might have happened here. They're at the crawl. You know the place, right?
I trail off, letting the meaning of my words hang in the air. I want to be optimistic about this, really. However, I'm going against something almost everyone can't quite understand. I'm just being realistic with my chances. McCullough seems to understand this as well after what I've said. Any sign of protest has already died from her tongue as she simply looks at the taser quietly. After a moment, she just nods. Oh dear Christ, why? Beyond the walls of this room, the cry continues to grow louder. I take it as a sign to leave. With another word, I slip out the door. Why? This is bad! Upon reaching the kitchen, the cry Ashton heard from outside began anew. Unwilling to risk a civilian, the detective handed Marianne his taser and advised her to leave if he didn't return after 15 minutes, even if he himself was uncertain if he would. Just like a siren, her voice beckons. Finding out who that is seems a good place to start as any. I keep to the shadows for the most part. How in candlelit room? Not that there's any need to. The entire place just feels empty. Odd when a house this big should have a large staff. You think there'll be one or two roaming about for some late night chores or someone seeking out whoever is creating this ruckus. There's none, however.
Shouldn't they have security posted inside as well?
Unless the security means the butler, though I doubt Scumbag's that sloppy. He loves his life more than anything. Probably more than his own wife. And the things he's done, he's bound to make even more than an enemy or two. He's also the kind who will do anything to keep himself safe. Alive.
I wonder what he'll say when he finds out that there's something not human living with him in his own house.
Potential danger aside, being on my own grants me a greater degree of mobility, which I'm more comfortable with. I sure could have enlisted McCullough's help. Well, it didn't give me the option to do that! Next to the people who owns this should probably be the one who's most familiar with the mansion. The cons of bringing her outweigh the pros. She's better off somewhere a quick exit's in sight. It's not a quick exit. You gotta go back down through a secret door, back down through creepy tunnels, and then back outside, and then back to town! It's not a quick exit! With no tag along, I only have myself to worry about myself. Watch my back. Selfish, I know.
But necessary.
In some manner, this whole plan is, no matter how idiotic going into this is. Besides, I don't really need a guide when the house's layout is fairly simple, almost mirrored with only a few modifications in the rooms. Although I've only been here once, I think I already have a good grasp of this place's ins and outs. As long as you can tell which is east and west, it shouldn't be hard to find my way around. After the dining room, the main foyer should be the next thing that greets me. Where the woman's cries are leading me. Honestly, after what happened outside, I'm not even sure I should be trusting what I'm hearing. With the whole house somehow seeming devoid of any of its inhabitants, I'm inclined to look into this. More than surviving this curse, a huge part of this is my training speaking.
I just hope this isn't a crime scene I'm walking into.
But nothing's ever that simple, is it? Not when you're dealing with the supernatural. Nope. Because as soon as my feet crosses to the next room, something shifts. in a flash, with nearly without fanfare. Save, please. In a flash, without any fanfare. It happens in the blink of an eye. I almost miss it. One moment there's red, and the next, standing alone in the foyer. For a brief instant, I pause, glancing wildly around the place, blinking twice as if my movements will spur the vision back. Yet, nothing. No blood dripping on the walls, none trailing down the stairs or pooled on the floor, no eyes watching my every movement. Only the same cries gradually growing in more intensity the longer I delay, along with a voice. Mother? Desperate.
Where are you, Mother?
Pleading.
Mother, please. I don't want to be alone.
Coming from the same direction I heard the cries earlier. Upstairs. The place is not entirely empty then. A better question now is who? Definitely not Scumbag or the butler. I've yet to see hide nor hair of them, and not knowing their whereabouts puts me on the edge. That was definitely Hana's voice. I recognize that voice. I had to be careful not to make any noise or be seen. Maybe the wife? Though one can't really tell if it's her, where the walls echo her voice. Nevertheless, it pushes me to move, taking almost 2 steps at a time. Despite the sickening feeling that something's lurking behind every great shadow, every corner I pass. As if the house has several eyes watching my every movement. As if something alive dwells behind the walls itself. Oh, fuck nuggets. Oh, boy. Okay. Upon reaching the kitchen, the crying Aston heard from outside begins anew. On alert, he continued deeper into the mansion, even if he was uncertain, as if he would get out of the place alive. I try to shake it off, but the uneasy sensation has already made home at the pit of my stomach. Dread, and it only grows deeper the closer I get to her. Relative emptiness of the place doesn't help either. Neither does the harsh wind battering the windows, nor the sheets of rain pelting down the roof. For a fleeting second, I find myself wishing for Scumbag to simply show up. I don't get too far down into that train of thought. Abruptly, the cries stop, replacing it with,
Mother, please. She's here. She's here, Mother. She's going to take me. She won't leave, Mother. Mother. I don't want to go with her. Tell her to go away. Mother! Mother, she's here! Help!
"Oh, that can't be good." Adrenaline overcomes me in a rush. In no 2 heartbeats, my feet's already moving before any sense can catch up or doubt creeps up on me. My hand's already at the holster as I hastily set off for the far side of the hall. One alarm footstep after another while struggling to keep that sense of panic at bay. A door lies ajar at the end and coming from the floor above.
She's going to hurt me! Help me!
I do not hesitate, moving in despite the lack of light. The steep stairs or the thick layer of dust kicking up with my every step. I pause only a moment upon reaching the top. Then without a wasted second, I push open the door. She sits in the middle of the room, shoulders hunched, shaking. I don't think that's Hana. I think the ghost and Hana were given the same voice, but I don't think that's her. Her hands covering her face as she weeps, oblivious to my presence. It's as if she has heard neither my footsteps nor the soft creaking of the door. Continuing undisturbed, like I'm standing in a time far removed from her. She doesn't even flinch when I call out to her.
Hey, are you alright?
Mother, I've done it, Mother. Take me with you, please. She's here. Help me! Help me, please!
Belatedly, I noticed the blood on her hands. If it's the same one drenching the whole attic, I'd rather not know. How the whole room has ended up like this is the least of my problems at the moment. Even the single human body doesn't have this much blood. So, bodies? The thought sends an unpleasant twinge in my stomach. Does Wright even know about this? It's bad news, alright, but this is beneath him. He'll definitely balk at the sight of it, anyone will. Yet, the woman lingers here, unmoved by the sight, letting her sobs fill the room. Repeating the words over and over again like a prayer of salvation. To whom? The mesh of parchment she has left on the floor? Just what the hell is happening?
Hey, lady, are you?
The rest of that question never makes it out. I didn't even see it coming. Should have been more aware, on guard, really. There's little I can do when a well-placed blow to the back of my knees makes me stumble. The momentum alone sends me reeling forward. It barely even registers in my head that the woman's gone and the room's as normal as it can be. The sobs led Aston to the mansion's attic. In the middle of the room, he found a woman crouched on the floor, crying. Cautiously, he approached her, but as he was about to reach out for her, someone grabbed him from behind. Not above the pain suddenly shooting up my side when I hit the floor. I didn't even get a chance to get my bearings back when a hard blow to the stomach caused me to buckle and land heavy on my knees. Gasping, I fumble wildly for my gun. Though before I'm able to level it and shoot, a hand grasps my wrist and twists it. Hard. A gasp. A grunt. A cry of pain slips past my mouth. The gun falls to the floor with a thunk. As soon as it lands, a foot kicks it out of my reach and it slides uselessly under the bed. Agony suddenly explodes in my chin, jerking loose a sharp cry of pain, and stars fill the edge of my vision. A brief moment of regret hits me for leaving my taser with McCullough. A piece of cloth closes around my neck. Without warning, my attacker pulls tight and left gasping, choking, clawing for air, blindly reaching behind me as I try to fight him off and loosen the pressure on my neck. Except any sort of movement only causes him to pull it taut.
My, so many rats scurrying about in this mansion lately.
Wright's butler. Shit!
Tell me, what did you do with the madam?
I have no idea what he's talking about. Did something happen to Hannah Wright?
Let go, you asshole.
Now, Dummkopf, you're in no position to be rude. Last time I checked, I'm not the one breaking into other people's homes. Now answer my question. What did you do with the madam?
The pain rings and resonates throughout my already sore body. Still, I managed to write it out and spit a mutinous...
Fuck you.
Keep that dirty mouth babbling and you're getting a knife in the kidney. I assure you it will be more painful than this.
He really doesn't need to threaten me now. It's all too much to bear at this point. My lungs feel like they're burning with the lack of air. Dark spots begin to fill the edges of my vision. Ever so slowly, the world around me dims. My consciousness rapidly slips away from me, and without meaning to.
Get away from him!
Hearing that voice as if it's been doused with a bucket of ice water. Familiar, too familiar. It's Isabella! And more importantly, it shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be hearing it here. She shouldn't be here. Immediately, my eyes snap open. Oh, she's got the fucking taser and a rolling pin! Good job, Isabella! And right there, right on the attic's doorway stands Isabella of all people. A rolling pin on one hand and a standard issue police taser on the other. My taser! She must have borrowed it from McCullough. Where else could she have gotten it? Now she's ever used one even. Hell, the way she holds it right now, the guy could easily disarm her in one hit. But there's something in her. In her eyes, it's almost a look of fear in them, and her hand shakes. She keeps the weapon trained and pointed at Scumbag's lackey. Untrained or not, she does not plan to leave here without putting up a fight, it seems. Admirable, really, but it's just not something we need right now. I need her to be away from here. I need her safe. The chances of that happening grow slim with every laughter that slips from him.
Oh, this is just getting better and better. The Bratwurst won't be pleased with the number of bodies we have to dispose of today, you know. Tell me, how many of you are there? So I can prepare the proper number of bags.
Damn it. What the fuck is going on? Why is she here in the first place? Did she follow after me? Who else came with her? Everyone! I hope everyone came with them! Zach? Rebecca? Are they all here? Kept saying story updated, so I think they are. Panic surges within me. She knows how bad the situation is, but did she really have to run in here and expose herself like that? Does she even know how to use a taser? For fuck's sake! Oh, more than worrying for my life, it's her I'm concerned about! Getting strangled, dying by choking isn't part of the plan, but her following me here isn't either. That's why I prefer to do things alone. That's why I'd rather be the only one to take the consequences. Don't even want to think about what this bastard might do to her after he's done with me. Though my voice comes off a Julia choke, I try to tell her as much. She has to leave. Stay far away from here and these people.
Don't! Damn it, Isabella! Get out of here!
Another bout of pain erupts in my side, cutting off the words. A cry of agony bursts from my mouth. I can taste blood in my tongue as I heave, attempting to get in as much air despite the towel still coiled around my neck.
Ash?
You're going to lose air quickly that way, Dummkopf. Better keep it shut.
Get out! 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 Belle!
Don't be stupid! I'm not leaving you here!
He laughs, too cruel, too unforgiving. The way each note beats against my ears in spite of the warmth in them sends chills down my spine. This is a man whose hands have already been stained with blood before. He won't hesitate.
I'd follow his advice if I were you, little girl. What could you possibly do with a toy? Just hand it over and be on your way. It'll probably be too difficult for a little girl like you to use.
There's a moment of silence. Fuck, I can barely keep my eyes open. But in the next second, though I still don't understand what's happening, Isabella shouts. Not a cry of pain, not a yell of panic, but one that's resolute, firm, perhaps in a tone that leaks fiercer than any I've heard from her before.
Try me. Aston, duck!
I do! More of instinct and desire to survive, closing my eyes before my mind can fully perceive what's going on. It all happens in a blur. The telltale sound of the taser being discharged resounds through the room. The air crackles. Something whizzes by, too close to my ear, followed by the thud of something blunt connecting solid with another object. Next thing I know, the towel strangling me has started to loosen! She fucking tased him! Yes! Good, Isabella! You done good, girl! Asher attempts to fight back, but his attacker quickly disarmed him, looping a towel around his neck and strangling him. But just when he was about to lose consciousness, a familiar voice rings in the room and... Oh, did I read that? I'm not sure if I did. I collapsed to the floor, dazed and gasping for air. From my peripheral, through the haze of blood rushing and the sound slowly filtering back, the butler buckles. He spasms once. And without a fuss, falls face first behind me. Oh, beside me. Knocked unconscious by 5,000 volts of electricity and a fucking rolling pin! He'll be out for a while. Lock him upstairs. I have no idea whether I should laugh or cry at that. Somewhere in front of me, my oxygen-deprived brain vaguely registers Isabella's form. She slumps on the floor, also breathing heavily. Right next to her trembling hands, both the taser and the pin lie useless and forgotten, while the mood in the room eases. A long, gradual process of the tension lifting. For countless seconds, we remain quiet, with only our short gasps and sighs to fill the silence. Allowing the adrenaline ebb away, and both breathing both are breathing to slow. Okay. Not a true repose by any means, but simply a brief respite. There's still the curse. We're still inside the mansion in imminent danger. We still have no idea how to fix this. Outside, the rain seems to only intensify. Lightning flashes fleetingly somewhere, white and piercing, and the sky rumbles. No rest for the wicked. I stir first, once recovered, having regained some semblance of sense and strength. Breathing still hurts, but it's bearable. As if moving, although every single motion causes a wince, there's still there'll be a bruising tomorrow I can withstand. I can manage, sorry. Retrieving my gun from under the bed is easy. But only with some effort am I able to drag an unconscious man to the far end of the room, snapping one of the handcuffs on his wrist, fastening the other to the bed frame. I should keep him restrained for a few hours in case he wakes up prematurely. All throughout this, Isabella stays quiet. In fact, she hasn't even moved since. Her hands still shake. I take a long draws of breath while she stares vacantly in front of her, almost as if she's in shock. Perhaps she isn't even expecting any result, spurred only by some kind of desperation. Now it's sinking in. Unfortunately, we need to get moving. We don't have time to wait for everything to register in our heads, sorry. Kneeling in front of her, I give her a light shake.
Belle, we need to go. You can't stay here.
Slowly she turns, staring at me with wide eyes. Worry flickers briefly in them, along with something ineffable. Then, without any warning, she lifts a hand and slaps me right across the face. That's what you deserve, moron. The sound of it cracks the air, shattering the silence like fragile glass breaking. Despite the familiar rumble of thunder outside, it manages to ring louder above the storm. I don't even know what hit me, till my head has already snapped back and my cheek stings with her anger. And it is anger! In spite of the stillness and lack of words afterwards. Not fuming, though. Never fuming. But the kind that burns lightly and soundlessly. Frustration instead of seething rage. One that ebbs just as quickly as it flows. And once the tide subsides, there's only that gleam in her eyes. Warm, steadfast, and unflinching. Quietly, I brace myself for the truth underneath that gaze. It slips from her lips softly, nearly fading under the sound of the rain still falling fast, if not for the weight in each of her words.
What is wrong with you?
Belle,
If Zach didn't slip up, no one would have known where you went.
Good thing I told him!
Belle, one person knowing is enough. Any more than that, and
You almost died! He could have suffocated you right then and there, and you could have died.
I told Zach to give me 4 hours. That would have been enough time to...
It would have been too late! And by the time anyone ever finds out, you're already fertilizer!
She trails off, drags one indrawn breath from another. Brief lull as her frustration finally gives, dissolves into something more pensive and somber. Her shoulders droop, and though her voice rises hoarse and weary, in her next words, there's only certainty.
You count too, you know. When I said, that night when I told you I don't want to lose anyone anymore, that includes you. Alive. We're still here, Ash. You have us. You have Rebecca with you. Don't make her worry like that.
Once their meaning fall, roar. It does so not with the force of a dam breaking or a raging storm, but with a gentle, steady warmth of a hearth burning, an ember easing slowly, lightly, rising and giving till all that's left is a truth, an understanding. Not alone. Never alone. It lingers, even as we both drift back into silence and her words take root, both in the gratitude that swells after, in another warmth blooming. pleasant, welcoming, like finding home. Like finding ourselves in the haze a squall has left, creating something fragile yet immutable in both of us. It's in her eyes, in the way she holds my gaze unwaveringly, in the way she carries herself despite sitting amidst a place she fears, in the way she keeps herself from trembling and falling apart, because fear is inconsequential when people she cares about are at risk. A change. She realizes that now, holds on to it. Another little thing, another small thing from her that may go unnoticed and pass by quietly, but will eventually amount to a lot of things. Despite myself, a soft smile slips from my lips. Sometime between finding that letter and this moment, something has shifted in her. If this is the old Isabella, she'll be hysterical. Probably with a lot of things and hiding behind people involved. Shouldn't even dare to march in here alone to save anyone. Who would have thought?
Stop smiling like that, Ashton. I'm not done scolding you.
Come on, you're not even that scary.
Oh, yeah? Let's see how tough you are after I tell Rebecca. Don't think I won't tell her. Oh, you are so dead when she finds out.
Abruptly, she stands up and gives me a little push. Not enough force to hurt, though I do end up sitting on my backside, laughing, amusement brimming from me. Then she sticks out her tongue and blows a raspberry, before quickly removing herself from the room. Something simply won't ever change, I suppose. The banter, the small smiles, the quiet little movements that roar. It is strength enough to keep me going as I pick myself up from the floor and follow after her. Power still hasn't come back when we make our way downstairs. Tricky, considering the stairs to the attic are a bit old. One misstep and anyone might end up slipping and falling. Lucky if that's all that'll happen to you. With the stairs this steep, a broken neck is a likely outcome. Thankfully, Isabella's here to guide me through the darkness. She knows this place better than anyone, after all, in spite of all the misfortunes it has brought to us.
Careful, the floorboards over there aren't very sturdy.
Alright, on cue. The same floorboard I'm standing on creaks and suddenly breaks. Pieces fall somewhere in a dull thunk.
Oh, shit. Scumbag wouldn't be too happy about that. Ow, my foot.
See? I told you so. You never listen to me.
They renovated the whole mansion. They can't even replace one tiny part of the house.
Why don't you file a complaint to BRC then? I'm sure they'd be thrilled to hear it. You know it was such a rush job.
Outside, the winds have intensified. Even from here, I can hear the gusts battering the window in the attic. Makes you wonder why, up until now, the only person we've encountered from this house is the butler. Although to some degree that makes sense. He is in charge of running the place. Where are the other servants, though? In this dorm, wouldn't anyone want to stay inside? A likely assumption is they're all asleep. The route I've taken doesn't really pass by the rooms they've likely assigned as the servants' quarters. However, they also have heightened security. I brushed it off earlier, thinking they'll be posted a lot closer to where the master's rooms are. The second floor is devoid of anyone as well. As if every inhabitant of this place has suddenly disappeared overnight. More importantly, where's that scumbag? I don't like this. I don't like this at all. The fact that we're here right in the fucking middle of it makes me all the more uneasy. All the more queasy, sorry. And that feeling only escalates once we reach the landing and Isabella swings the door open. She pauses briefly right in front of the doorway that I almost run into her, a look of confusion in her as she looks wildly around the place, wordlessly taking in her surroundings. With each turn and shift of her eyes, her shoulder only grows tense and a look of apprehension slowly dawns on her. Yeah, how the fuck did we get to the kitchen? They're not even like next to each other. What the fuck?
Isabella, what are you...
We aren't supposed to be here.
Sure enough, when I look up, we're standing in the kitchen. Pots, pans, and all. Oh, there they are here! Okay, good! Oh, I told you! Avengers assemble! Future Brandon, you better be playing the Avengers theme song right now. Good job, Future Brandon. I'm proud of you. Zach and Rebecca watches almost as surprised to see us. McCullough's also with them. Of course, she doesn't listen to me even if I'm already exceeded the 15 minutes we've agreed upon. Although, Color and strength seemed to have returned to her, enough for her to be able to stand unassisted. The empty plate on the corner appears to have been played a part in that. Good news, I guess. As for the other two, however, relieved as I am that they've had the sense to wait and not venture deeper into the mansion, I can't keep but a roll of my eyes at both of them.
Zach, I said 4 hours.
I know, but Isabella asked, and... Come on, bro, you know I ain't a very good liar.
And it didn't even occur to you to stop her?
We all tried, all right? She was out the door before we could say anything.
And how did you guys even get in here?
All three of them exchanged a look. One that I absolutely don't like, in the end, it's Isabella who speaks up, albeit with a bit of hesitation.
We heard someone scream, Ash. It led us here.
Oh, without a warning, the door behind us slammed shut.
We need to get out of here.
Screw right. I need to get these people out of here. Lucky we're in the kitchen and we have 2 ways out. The back door and the cellar offers. Except the hatch won't budge when I pull at it. And neither does the back door, as if something has locked it firmly on the other side. Zach also gives it a few tries, but even with the big guy's strength, it won't open. It's a long bout of silence in which we all simply look at each other, likely sharing the same thoughts. We're trapped. Something or someone has intentionally led us here. Fuck! In that same moment, once realization dawns in, something shifts again. Blood. In every nook and cranny, every single surface, and every inch of the floor. This time, unlike the first one I've seen, it remains, and gradually the whole room begins to reek of that familiar metallic scent, sharp and suffocating. Around us, oh god, every object, including the cupboards, have started to rattle as well. Sounds from outside, foreboding rumble of thunder, and even the howling winds have begun to fade, replaced by whispers, shouts, and cries of pain. Together, Aston and Isabella carefully made their way downstairs. However, instead of a hallway, the kitchen greeted them instead. Before they could understand what was happening, it slammed shut behind them and the whole mansion had started to shift. It's a fucking closed space. In case, like, a closed space is like a horror story kind of thing, where basically, like, if any of you have played the Corpse Party games, which I have, I played the last one in the series when it came out because it looked interesting, not knowing it was like the very last one in the series. And so now I know at the end of the story, and I haven't played any of the other ones. Regardless, a closed space is like in Corpse Party, the elementary school that everyone finds themselves trapped in, and now this mansion. It's like an alternate dimension, a closed dimension that you can't get out of. Unless you're really fucking smart, or you find a way to break the curse, which sometimes there just isn't. Sometimes once you're trapped, there is no way out. So yeah, scary thought. Though inaudible, each beat and note bombards every crevice of my head with vague images and sounds. There's no time to make sense of everything, however. I'm already shouting, fueled purely by adrenaline, barking orders and making a break for the door that leads to the next room, the dining. It takes us straight to the foyer where the main door is.
Move! Run!
Right in front of us, the mansion has started to change and we're in the thick of it. However, instead of the dining room like it's supposed to open to, the bedroom welcomes us instead. An image that only lasts about a second before blood begins to seep into the room. Filtering into the walls, trickling from every nook and cranny. Everywhere furniture shakes and every beam rattles. Before we can even step back from the horror gradually unfolding in front of us, the door slams shut. A loud thud bringing a sense of dread and chill creeping up at us. Along with it is another realization: the whole place is reordering itself. And with the door closed behind us, showing no signs of budging even through sheer force, there's no choice but to go forward and hope to all gods that it'll lead us to an exit. Oh god. Until then, the running's the only thing we can do, spurred by nothing but fear and a sense of desperation to live.
It's useless, Aston Frey.
With each room we pass, it only becomes apparent that the house has no intention of letting us leave. It lured all of us here, and we've fallen for it. Now it's playing a little game with us, a sordid form of amusement. For whom? Their laughters are the only thing we can hear. With every hall we cross and door we slide open, the hope of finding an exit merely dwindles. The gun on my hip is useless here. I am useless here. Some fucking genius I am. Some fucking person to trust I am. All of those, they mean nothing in the face of the unknown.
You finally figured it out. Huh, Aston Frey. Just give it up. All of them will eventually die because of you.
And you are going to die alone.
Shut your fucking mouth.
You know it's true, though.
All of it. It's why all you can do is tell us to shut up. You don't want to hear a single word, because you're already aware of it. You can't even admit it to yourself. Who's the coward now?
But no matter how hard you try, you're not gonna be able to save anyone.
The more gruesome the place turns, the bleaker our chances simply get. Wails and screams fill our ears as we pass by. Words from a time and people long gone, laced with nothing but pure agony, calling out, reaching out to us. Their voice is almost too real, as if we're not the only ones trapped here. There are others begging for release from this wretched place. Or maybe it's all just a show, a taste of what we will eventually be, souls forever held captive in a never-ending nightmare.
Mother, I've done it, Mother. Take me with you, please. I can still hear her. She's here. Help me! Help me, please!
Isn't that what the curse is? What it means for all of us? That's what the letter... not a morbid cry for help, but an invitation? A beckoning for unexpecting souls to be dragged into this place's horrors, be put under centuries and centuries of torment and agony? Suddenly, dying a painful death seems preferable, enticing, than ending up here, living a tortured existence. Or perhaps it's all the same. Still, hope worms its way into me. Not a usual thing for someone like me. But after going through countless doors and corridors, every little sign of hope I'm willing to cling to, as long as it'll get us out of here. We're back in the dining room again. How long have we been running? How long since we left the kitchen? At some point I've lost track of time. With the windows barred tight and the sounds lifting in the air, nothing but shouts and shrieks, it's impossible to tell. Not that it matters when an end is in sight. Shelves and furnishings bar the door, each stained with blood and gore. That if the situation isn't as desperate as it is, I'll find a different way out. There's still a gap left the topmost part for a person to go through, as long as you use the shelves to climb up.
It's an exit, all right.
Here I can spy the familiar walls of the foyer. Relief. Only relief washes over me. Although my legs have been strained taut by all the running and every bone and muscle in my body aches, there's only an easing. A sense of tension, relieving, while energy should be flows back through me again at the sight of an end. No sooner I'm leading us out of it. Zach helps McCullough first, assisting her up and through the gap, before giving a hand to both Rebecca and Isabella. The moment the ladies are in, I nod for him to go through.
Go ahead. I'll watch your back.
Surprisingly, he does that without any protest. Not that there's any need. Sometime after entering this room, this whole place has calmed down. No wails, no whispers. Just a whisper too deafening. But I'm not letting my guard down until everyone's on the other side of this nightmare, safe. For all I know, this may just be a calm before the storm. Without further reason, however, Zach makes it to the other side, and I'm following after him. However odd this rush is, I turn my back from it and climb up. It's a tight fit, but I manage to squeeze myself in. The unease remains, though. Maybe it's the adrenaline still coursing through me, or how easy everything has been after living through that nightmare, fleeting as it is. But for some reason, there's still something still nagging at me. Call it detective instinct or my training or whatnot. I have a feeling something's going to happen and catch us unprepared. Unconsciously, before dropping down to the other side of this dream, my hand shifts to the gun at my hip. Instinct has never failed me before. My feet haven't even landed firmly on the floor when...
Had I known there would be a party in my own home tonight, I would have opened a bloody bottle or two. People these days, in my own home. Can you believe it? I feel so left out.
A chill seeps into every vein in my body. All of a sudden, every ache, every pain returns to me tenfold, and my knees threaten to buckle at the sound of his voice. Though it appears friendly, I know it is anything but. One does not spend investigating a man like him for over a year and holding a grudge against him for more without knowing everything about him. His quirks, his habits, I'm familiar with all of them. And right now, Luke fucking Wright is beyond pissed. Shifting my gaze upwards is nearly too painful knowing the danger. Not to me, but to those who have been lured in here by the curse. Oh, fuck a duck. Handgun catches my eyes next to the smarmy smile on his face while he holds McCullough, Zach, Rebecca, and Isabella at gunpoint. Its sight, enough to lodge a painful thorn up my throat. I've been too complacent, too focused on other things that I've completely set aside the fact that Scumbag will not be too pleased to see us here without knowing our reasons. Even without these good intentions. Curses, ghosts, and ghostly apparitions aside, we're still trespassing in his home. The question is he even aware of that? Is he even aware that the whole of his household has somehow disappeared? He might not be the only one here. Likely not. Fuck. Even with people he knows among the crowd, there's significant effort for him not to simply shoot everyone in sight.
And really, Daisy, even you, what would Kylie say?
Luke, this isn't what you're thinking. You have to listen to us. There's something going on here.
Well, obviously, why else would people be trespassing in my home? What about little Lily over there, then? What's your excuse? Checking back if your clients are doing okay? Is that it?
We're doing good, by the way.
Sir, please.
Oh, please what?
Becca's right, sir. We need to get out of this place. You need to leave.
Tut, not a good enough excuse, darling. You people are the ones who need to get out of my sight. Don't worry, I might consider pressing lighter charges for the woman. Can't say the same for the rest of you. But really now, I swear the people of this city need to be taught the meaning of privacy. This is how you want to start the week. Why don't we just go with a bloody massacre if we want to surprise people in their homes, huh?
Casually, he waves the handgun at them as if it's a mere toy and his words are no threat. The safety's off on his. Nothing stopping him from pushing through with his words. Call me paranoid, but at the sight of the gesture, I draw my own and level at him, finger on the trigger and ready to release the safety catch in case things go south. He's quick to train his own on me, though. Just like we're having just like that we're at a standstill.
Now, Feathers. Manners.
Oh, I'm pretty sure this is the end of Aston's chapter. Okay. After a long, desperate run in search of a way out, the house calmed down for some reason. An exit was finally in sight. Waiting on the other side, however, is... yeah, Luke Wright.
You're in no position to be pointing that gun at people.
Why don't you put yours down first, and then we'll talk about manners.
Oh, he talks back. The gall! You know, your kind pisses me off so much.
Shooting him right now will be so worth it with the way he stares at me like a damn pest. But this isn't what I've come here for. I'm not a murderer. As much as I loathe him, I'm not the kind who will kill people in cold blood for my own gain or amusement. The law will bring him what he deserves one of these days. At the moment, however, we're all in the same boat with this curse, and he needs to understand that. The longer we stand here, the more time we're wasting and losing, something we don't have much of. how can I convince him? The scum is so full of himself. First, he hears the sound of his own voice more than those of people around him, no matter how much sense they make. Probably the only way I can make him listen is if I beg. No way in hell that's happening. Oh, this is a bad idea. Oh God, everything's bad! God, everything is bad right now! I will beg him to listen! Seems like the better plan. My life's not the only one at risk here, however. There's Zach. There's Rebecca. There's Isabella. McCullough's here, too! We're all unknowing victims to this fucking curse. I'm in no position to pick who to save and who I should simply let die. I suppose my pride can take a few hits, and I can set aside my beef with this asshole. Taking a deep breath, slowly I lower my pistol. Though still on the edge and at ready, in case he does something, I do my best to assume a less aggressive stance.
Listen, right. I need you to...
You broke into my house, and somehow, you expect me to listen like a good little boy. Are you a bit touched in the head, Feathers? I'm not the one breaking laws here.
Look here, fucker. If I wanted you dead, I could have done it so many times already. In fact, I can easily shoot you down right here, right now, and you won't be able to do a damn thing, even with that gun.
Suddenly he laughs, almost howling in fact. Like I'm just told him the best joke he's heard all his life. The only thing missing is for him to keel over and start rolling on the floor. All while I do my best not to sock him with the sorry end of my pistol.
You have guts, Feathers. You have guts. Did you hear what you just told me? You've just threatened me inside my own house. You know what I'm thinking right now? In another lifetime, we would have probably gotten along well.
He's right about that, at least. I might have ended up like him if I didn't have Professor Andrew, Rebecca, Zach, and Isabella. One mistake and it would have been too late for me. With his laughter rings all of those possibilities I could have lived. But have never been given the choice. All because I have other people with me. People who care. A sobering realization. But not so much when suddenly his chuckling stops. In 2 heartbeats, he marches towards me, grabs me by the collar, and aims his gun right at my head.
Ashton! Luke, no!
Hey, now you two, I'm sure we can all talk about this first.
At this distance, a slight flick of his finger on the trigger will be able to do more than kill me.
What is it that you people really want with me? This is the second time this week, and I'm really getting weary of this little game. Did the NCA send you to apprehend me, or has somebody paid you off to kill me? Which one is it, Feathers? Mind you, my arm's getting tired. Better answer quick if you don't want to meet the business end of this gun.
Keep my eyes trained on him, in spite of the huge threat he poses right now. Because there's anything people like him, like us, prefer, it's honesty. You don't give that impression without keeping a solid eye contact.
I'm not with NCA. I'm just here to help. There's something else in this house, and we're all in danger. You have to believe me, right? You need to let us go. You need to get out of here before it's too late. If you want to keep your sorry ass alive, you'll listen to people with more brain cells than you.
Okay, you were doing good until that part!
Why, you insolent!
He moves his finger, but I am prepared. My hand ready to reach up, disarm him, and knock him out. I don't have to drag him out of this place unconscious to keep him from suffering the fates of every other person who have died from the curse. So be it. However, before either of us can fire a shot or tackle the others to the ground, another voice echoes throughout the foyer. A small thing compared to the storm raging outside. It rings above it nevertheless, causing us all to stop and turn. No! At the top of the staircase, Hannah Wright stands. To make matters worse, that thing's behind her. Menacing, with rotting hand wrapped around her neck. She looks like death. Pale and shaky, eyes red with tears. We nearly don't hear her as she pleads.
Luke, help me. Please.
Outside, another streak of lightning flashes and a clap of thunder ripples across the sky. As if This whole thing can't get any more foobar than it already is. No, that's the end! Oh my god, that's the end of his. In spite of the danger Luke Wright posed at the moment, Ashton lowered his gun and assumed an implorative tone toward the man he hated. Amidst the tense air, a voice suddenly echoed in the foyer. There at the top of the grand staircase stood Hannah Wright. Oh my god. Well, we're playing as Luke now. Lucille Mitchell Luke Wright, born August 2nd, Leo, 31 years old. 5'8", president and CEO is his occupation. He's British. He's an atheist, but raised Anglican. High school dropout, privately tutored. He likes bread pudding, dogs, wine and absinthe, playing piano, daffodils, money, women and power. A prostitute's son, he spent his childhood roaming the streets begging or pickpocketing in order to avoid home. Huh. Home meant a too-drunk mother and her equally drunk clients, some of whom would take to beating the child out of anger if he so much as looked at them wrong. That meant he was always in trouble in one form or another. Nothing was done to correct it until, in a sober moment, his mother found out about the abuse and promised to take better care of her son. Luke was happy for a while, but his mother's bad habits led to an early grave, and she left him orphaned until his biological father, a businessman with no legitimate heir, sought him out. He was trained to inherit Wright Enterprise, but along the way got mixed up with illegal activities. That put the company in a bad spot after his assistant ran off with a large sum of money. Bankruptcy would have been inevitable if he hadn't have married Hannah. Damn. I'm gonna go a little bit farther just to see where we are right now. But that's all that I'm gonna do. To say that I'm scared of what's happening is a gross understatement. Trouble of any sort is the last thing I want to get home to after a long day at home and a trip to the bar. When I see Hannah near prostrate, I can only feel dread. She twitches and seizes, body wound and coiled tight before thrashing, shuddering and shaking. Like a woman possessed, her mouth falls open and her eyes roll to the back of her head. It has the hallmark signs of a seizure. Symptoms are similar enough. And that knowledge, the fact that I know this, only makes me feel worse. But to hold her close is all I can do while she thrashes about. I know this is wrong, that I'm not supposed to hold her down, yet I do it without instinct, reflex even. I'm terrified of hurting her, but I see no other way to keep Hannah from hurting herself. It takes a lot to keep myself from running off to get help when she needs me here. And it takes everything I have to keep myself intact. When she says my name, I realize that the seizures have stopped. It doesn't make the dread go away.
Luke, please.
What happened here? Who did this to you?
I don't know. I'm so sorry.
The sight of her tear-streaked face is enough to twist the knife in. It does not help that I'm as lost as she is right now. All I can say is...
Shh, it's all right. You're safe now, Hannah. You're safe now.
Oh, okay, so that's where we are. Whew. I just had to know where we were because we are definitely at time for this episode. Oh, geez, that was... I'm guessing that we're going to get up to that moment again with Luke, and then we're going to have our epilogue. I'm wondering if the epilogue is going to be just what happens right afterwards, or like, I don't know. I saw like a screenshot, like completely by accident, honestly. Like, I saw like a screenshot, like, you know when you load up Steam and it shows you like a preview of the game? There was like a screenshot of like this screen, this here, except for instead of timeline and profiles, in the middle it said E-Mansion. So I'm wondering if we are gonna get to spend some time in the mansion, looking around and figuring shit out. I don't know, but I am interested to see what's going to happen. So, thank you everybody so much for watching. I appreciate you being here with me because, oh damn. Oh, damn, this episode, Oh boy, just my heart. Oh, my heart cannot take this. My heart cannot take this. Oh, I didn't check his relationships. God, he's such a douche. Using good with Rebecca, Hannah, and Marianne right now. No one else, though. Of everyone. But, oh god, I'm in the final chapter. I'm in the final chapter of this. And, like, I don't know what's gonna happen afterwards. I don't know what, like, the epilogue is, but... I'm gonna show you this real quick. I'm gonna go here and show this, because it's in, the gallery. There is epilogue 0%. So I'm guessing that once I finish all of these, then we're going into the epilogue to see what happens to everyone. Based on all the choices we've made, we will see what happens. But that is going to have to wait for next time. We are definitely going to have some more fun and figure out... Like, we're going to get to see Luke's side of the story now, and I'm so interested in him now that I know about... He wasn't, like, born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He actually earned... like, you know, what he has, except for he apparently got into some illegal shit, which is very, very not good. But we will deal with that next time. So, thanks again, and until next time, have yourselves a beautiful day, my beautiful, beautiful viewers.